Let's talk. So, I'm talking about today how to move on from a relationship when it's just recently ended. Okay, so I'm gonna get straight into it. I have no script, nothing. All my content, everything I talk about, is nothing scripted or like I haven't written this down anywhere. This is just coming straight from my own personal perspective and point of view. I'm no therapist or anything like that. I'm just a normal person that's had similar experiences, and this is just what I take. You know what I mean? That's just my personal takes and opinions, and you guys can obviously sort of see if that's what's right for you. So, I'm gonna get into it. Um, so I've had a few relationships myself, and obviously, like every situation was different to the other, but I feel like I just had a specific way of moving on from those relationships and how I initially conquered those things. Like the adversities and the late nights overthinking and crying and what I'm saying, like there's a lot of different things that you overthink, and there's a lot of different feelings you feel when you do just go through a breakup. Like you feel lost, you feel sad, anger, like you know you just feel a lot of things all at once, and it's an indescribable feeling because you don't even know what you feel like until you're out of that situation, and you can actually assess like, okay, I went through this, I went through that, I went through that. Like I remember like when I broke up with my second girlfriend, like she literally, me and her, like I just felt angry, I felt betrayed. Those are the biggest emotions I felt, and I also felt very sad because that's someone like I genuinely had a lot of love for. But that's just, it is what it is, right? It is what it is. That's just something I felt. But you know what? This is how I got over my relationships, and I say my most recent one took me probably the longest to get over. But I'll sort of go through my process and what that looked like for me and what it may look like for you. You know what I mean? So I'll go into that. So what helped me was just understanding that, like, you know what, sometimes you just need to let, like, feel everything that you feel. Like there's some people that just don't allow themselves to feel the way they feel, like they don't speak about what they feel inside, they just suppress their emotions. They you know they make their whole life about this like breakup, but they don't like communicate to no one. I personally like wouldn't do that. Like you should speak to people about how you feel. Like if it's your mom, your dad, like your siblings, friends, whoever it may be, like your grandparents, bro, like speak to anyone about the way you feel, the situation. Like even if you feel like there's stupid points to mention, like go through everything you feel, A to Z. Obviously don't say stuff that's just NSFW. Like that's just you know like techie stuff in it. Like there's certain things you shouldn't talk about with your parents. I think we can all like understand what I'm saying here. But I feel like you should just let it all out of your system. Like like I said, there will be a lot of feelings straight away, and you'll feel a lot the first few weeks. So I think it's just making sure you understand how you feel and trying to process as much as you can, like your feelings. Like you need to do that, otherwise you will just you'll spiral out of control, and you'll keep on like circling like back and forth in this cycle of just like sadness. And at the end of the day, I think you need to process your emotions to start moving on. If you aren't able to process your emotions, I feel like it just takes you away from like the actual where you want to go towards like the next steps of like bettering yourself and healing yourself and getting back into where you need to be. You know what I'm saying? You just need to not like, what is the word I'm looking for? What is the word I'm looking for? You just need to express yourself. You need to express yourself. That is the biggest thing when you first break up. You need to talk to people. You need to find that, like, you need to find something. Not just like, yeah, like, obviously, number one, speak to people. You need to speak to people. But number two, you have to realize that, like, your life cannot pause. You have to come to reality with the fact that, like, you've still got to go to work. You've still got to, if you're living at home or if you're living alone, your house ain't cleaning itself. Um, like, or like, you got still got things to do. Like, keep yourself busy. Don't take yourself away from those like things that made you. Don't take those things away from yourself that usually keep you in your structure. Like, stay doing what you're doing, because at the end of the day, if you like stop doing everything just because of one thing that's happened, I get like significance can be mad. If you stop everything, then like, you don't really aren't able to stay distracted. And at the end of the day, it's not 24/7 that you want to be thinking about a relationship, right? You want to be able to, at least like, I don't know, maybe you want to clean the dishes, even just clean your dishes, cleaning the house, like, it distracts you a little bit. If you need to go run some errands, go grocery shopping, like, just do it. Like, it's cool. Like, don't be in your bed all day just rotting about this certain thing. I remember like one thing I'd do initially when I like ended things with someone, like, I would be in my bed all day. I would rot in my bed all day, and I would not leave. And like sometimes you see me sleep in the weirdest places. Like sometimes I wasn't even in my bed. Sometimes I'd be on the sofa. Sometimes I'd be on the floor sleeping, bro. That's how deep it would hit me. Okay, so don't be like that. Okay, what I would say is, you know, like, keep yourself busy. Don't be the person that stays put the whole time and doesn't actually try to move forward. I get straight when it's like first hits you, you'll naturally just want to rot. You will feel a lot of wave of emotions. You'll do what you want to do with your day, and then you'll just like go to your bed and knock out, and just, what I mean, like, you don't really want to socialize much. You just want to do what you need to do and just sleep. It'll feel like that at first, but eventually, when you're starting to try to move on, you don't want to carry on repeating that. You need to eventually do more things. You know what I'm saying? And you need to implement more things into your life, into your structure. You need to develop that. You know what I'm saying? And another thing I will say is that a lot of people, I'm not saying all, but a lot of people, they tend to make their relationships their whole life. So like they will, A to Z, like, they will like be in a relationship, but then, oh wait, no, sorry, I thought I was getting called. I if you are in a relationship, a lot of people make their whole lives with their partner. Like, they do everything with their partner. Like, they always on call with their partner when they're going out, like all that sort of stuff. And I'm not gonna lie, you don't need to do that all the time. Your partner should be an addition to your life. They shouldn't be like your whole life. So if you have your hobbies that you had, like if you're going gym, if you're taking part in any sports, if you're painting, reading, if you like cooking, even, like, if you have something you're passionate towards, carry on with that, build up with that. Like, literally keep yourself doing things that you love, because that's something for you to do for you. Like, work, at the end of the day, no one likes to work because you're working for someone else. But if you're able to do something for yourself, like take care of yourself in one way or another, like just taking care of your body and doing things you love, like that, those things, like, make you a lot more. It kind of like mellows your brain down, and it also like just makes you feel like, like, I'm actually doing something that means something to me. And when you're doing things that mean something to you, you start to love yourself more. And I think one thing with like when you do break up with someone, you lose a lot of love for yourself. And I feel like that is what you need to gain back as well. Like, you need to, like, learn to love yourself again. So like literally from the point where you're like bed rotting, and you're just like not really feeling too great, like, you get from that point to, like, eventually you're taking that slow step to like being at that point where you're like, okay, I'm alright now, I can, or you're not alright, but you can crack on, you can get things done, you can, you know what I mean? And I think the biggest thing, like I said, I kind of touched on this briefly, the biggest thing to moving on, straight up, is just to be busy. Straight up, it's just to be busy. If you're not busy, if you are constantly, scrolling or just watching films, or if you're just like rotting in bed or whatever you're doing, it doesn't help you from the problem inside. It doesn't help the issues that you're having. But if you actually do things that are actually meaningful with your time, you'll actually feel good about yourself. Keeping yourself busy, that's never a bad thing. And I think that like everyone knows that they should keep themselves busy, but they always do the total opposite thing. When that breakup just happened, like bro, like when the last my last breakup happened, bro, I was just working. I was working. I was going gym.
Mommy, are you sleeping?
I was like doing like a course. Like
Mommy?
I was learning like a finance course for this like qualification I was trying to get. Like I literally, bro, I spent a lot of time on developing myself, and even now I'm still developing myself. And I broke up with that person like almost 2 years ago now. But I spent a lot of time to myself just because I was like, you know what, I need to, do that. I just need to do that straight up. I just need to do that. I need that time for me, and I need to like do things that I want for me. And this was literally not long after, like literally, I broke up with that person. Cool, and then next thing you know, literally 2 weeks later, I've signed up for a course. I'm going to the gym. I'm, still working my job, but I'm keeping myself busy. Yeah, I'm still like in pain at times. Like I'm still thinking, I'm still hurt, whatever. But I'm still keeping myself. You know what I'm saying? I'm keeping myself moving. I'm keeping it stepping, just because I know that's like the best way to be. And not everyone's built like that. Not everyone can be built like that. I understand. But I feel like that's why I say don't do it all at once that I did. But personally, I was just able to. That's just me. But if you're able to one step at a time, just work on, okay, not bed rotting anymore. Like literally, like, you know what? Okay, let me actually go ahead and do something. You know, literally talk it out with someone instead of keeping it in your head. That's one thing I'd say. Don't keep things in your head. Speak to someone. Healthiest way to deal with things. Number two, like, do whatever you do in your routine. Just keep yourself busy with that, and then add something that will like, better, like, make you happy. Like if it's like I said, creating, like streaming, any sort of hobbies you may have that are specific to you, do those hobbies. Like do things that will benefit you. Okay. And then another thing I'd say is a lot of people, they like, let's just say after 3-4 months they'll think, you know what, I need to be in another relationship. I need to do this. I need to do that. Bro, you do not need to be in another relationship like a few months later after you just ended one. You really don't need to be putting yourself in that situation. Because at the end of the day, you haven't fully. I don't know. Everyone has a different healing process. I know mine takes a long time, but like I personally just wouldn't be entertaining someone or having conversations with someone if I know I've just gone through something. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't give in to their temptation of another person just because they can potentially be something when there's no guarantee in that. At the end of the day, you've got to be smart with your actions after you've actually started working on yourself. Be smart with who you actually, get yourself involved with next. You know what I'm saying? Like, actually understand what you want in someone. Understand what you want in a person, and understand why your relationship did end. Once you're actually able to rationalize yourself, actually come back to that and be like, okay, why did this end? What was some flaws in myself? Because at the end of the day, a relationship isn't just like one person, it's two people. But at the end of the day, that person that you ended things with, they're gone. So the only person you're left with is yourself. So what I'd say is like, analyze, what you sort of think went wrong. Okay, why it went wrong. I'm not trying. Was there any things that you were sort of lacking, or anything that you felt like you weren't doing enough of, or if there's any issues that you may have had? Sometimes there may be nothing, but if there is anything, it's good to be self-aware. Make yourself self-aware of like everything that you feel. because I think once you are able to do that, you're able to track like, okay, like, you know what, the reason it didn't work out is because maybe I wasn't ready. You know, the reason it didn't work out is because, like, you know, I was still chasing my goals and this was just too soon. Like, it could just be stuff like that. And you know what, it's good to acknowledge like why things end. You know what I'm saying? I think that when you know acknowledge that, it makes you realize that, like, okay, once I acknowledge what I do sort of like go through, what I have sort of been through, I can basically just sort of go back and, you know what I'm saying? Sorry, my cat just keeps walking in. But once you acknowledge, like, you know, the whole relationship, any sort of personal things that you'd want to work on, then you know, like, okay, until I've done this, I'm not getting into a relationship. Or, you know, because I experienced this in this relationship, I don't want to go into wouldn't be in another relationship unless I get this from that person. You know what I'm saying? You are fully self-aware of yourself and what you want within yourself, but also what you want within a partner. Once you make yourself self-aware of those things, don't settle for less. Okay, you've stand on business now. You've got your checkbooks. You've got all of that. Stand on business now. Don't talk. Don't, like, you know what I'm saying. Don't, like, get into a talking stage. Don't get into another relationship unless that person ticks those boxes. Someone will tick like one box and not meet the others, but people will still go for it just because they feel like, you know what, fuck it for the plot. No, literally, if your relationship, if you feel like that is like, you know, if you really value you'll value, like, you know, the person you next get with, because they will be exactly the person you want them to be. You know what I'm saying? So you've got to value like yourself. You've got to put yourself first, and you've got to realize that, you know what, I need to genuinely sorry guys, I lose my school of thought here sometimes, just sometimes, okay? But what I'm trying to say is that, you know, you have your values, you have everything that you ideally want. Don't like, not everyone's gonna meet everything all at once. That's like, not everyone is gonna meet exactly all your requirements and everything that you desire. Sometimes, like, a new relationship will require a compromise. That's just normal. Not everyone will be exactly A to Z the perfect person. No one's perfect. But what I'm saying is that if you have literally just like just some things that you'd want out of that person, make sure you have a good idea of that, and make sure, like, you know, you stand on business with that. And, you know, if you do want to like speak to people again and you actually feel like you've actually moved on from a previous situation, fine, but don't dial into completely one person. Like, literally just, like, you know, take your time. Like, you know, there's no rush with relationships. I feel like people like to rush into a relationship just because it's like, oh my gosh, I can just be with that person and it's easy. Bro, literally, like, relationships aren't easy, and the ones that end their relationships ends because they do something so quick without even thinking about every sort of angle possible. And that's why it doesn't go well. Like, my relationships, like, in the past, like, they didn't go well because I didn't think, like, oh my gosh, like, about certain things. And now I'm like, okay, you know what, I need to think about religion. I need to think about who that person is as a person. I need to see if, like, you know, their values align with mine. I need to see if they would, you know, get on well with my family. Like, if they, like, you know what I'm saying, there's so many things that you may require. There's so many things that you may require. And I think a lot of people, like, need to realize that, like, you know, a relationship isn't just like, you know what, okay, let's just date for fun. It's not just that. You need to actually think, like, okay, I want this from a specific someone. And you know what, when you meet more and more people, you can find that eventually. It may not come right away, but you can find that. And I think you just need to realize that, like, whatever you sort of feel, you need to, like, stand on business with it. Like, whatever you want in person, you need to stand on business with it. And don't jump into a new relationship until you found that something that is worth you fighting for. If it ain't worth you fighting for it, and if that person isn't, like, you know, the compromise isn't worth it, and you feel like you can work on that person, then go for it. If you don't feel like you can, leave it. Like, I remember, like, this is a personal experience. I remember, like, I dated someone. I genuinely thought, bro, I could change her. I genuinely thought that, like, it could be a thing where it'd be long term, it'd work out, because this person was like all in for me, like genuinely all in. She was gonna ask me out before I asked her out. Literally, she had it all prepared. But I'd asked her out before she asked me out. But I thought it was all dialed in, yeah. But then, bro, literally, like, things didn't obviously go that way because she only saw the short term. I saw a long term. I wanted certain things. She didn't want those certain things. That was it. Things just ended. But that's what I'm saying. You guys need to understand, like, bro, if that person doesn't align with your future, don't get with them in the first place. If they don't align with your future, bro, don't get with them. What are you doing, bro? Why are you going back against everything you've like said, like, you know what you'll do? What are you doing? What are you doing? Like, honestly, like, really and truly, like, what are you benefiting from going back on everything you've set out? Yeah, and I've seen so many people, they always talk like, you know what, I want this in a person, I want this in a person, I want this in a person. They'll get with someone that's the complete opposite of that. Like, I see this a lot with girls too. They'll get, I mean, probably happens to guys too, I don't know. But I've seen this with a lot of girls where they know that guy's a red flag and they will still entertain it, bro. Like, girly, like, you don't need to entertain that, bro. You don't need to entertain that shit. Let's be real now. Do you really need to entertain a guy like that is just, you know, a crazy boy? Like, honestly, I knew someone that, like, would talk to guys that were, like, you know, in prison before and shit. Like, bro, come on, lock in, bro, lock in. What are you doing? Is that really worth it? Is it really worth it? It ain't worth it. It's a short-term thing, bro. If you know it's a short-term thing, why put yourself through that when you know it's not gonna give you any good outcome? Stop going for short-term thing, bros. Stop going for short-term shit. Stop aiming for short-term relationships. Aim for someone that you can genuinely bring home to your parents and be like, you know what, mom and dad, this is who I met. I want to be with them. Bring home someone like that. Be with someone that, you know what, you have pride in being with. Why are you going to be with, like, why are you going to be with someone in the first place unless you genuinely know, like, you know what, it is worth me being with them? If you can't bring them home to your parents, you know you're wasting your time. Or if you can't bring them home to, or like, if you can't make them meet someone special to you, you may not have, like, family. Like, if you can't bring them home to someone special to you, or if you can't make them meet someone special to you, bro, what are you doing? Literally, lock in. What are you doing? You know what I'm saying? Speaking fast. Or just don't get into a relationship. Focus on yourself. Exactly what I wanted. Like, literally, focus on yourself. Like I said, if you want to move on and actually start speaking to new people again, you need to bear those factors in mind. Stop thinking short term, think long term. When you have the short term mentality, you're never going to have a fulfilled life. If you have a long term mentality, you'll always win. And that's with anything, but specifically relationships. If you have a long term mentality, that relationship, that next person that you want to be with, it will last. So, I'll go through my steps again. 1, speak about your feelings, okay? Speak about everything you feel. Number 2, don't make yourself do stuff. Like, don't give up shit. Like, go to work, keep yourself busy. Do what you usually do. Even if you sleep after, fine. But do what you usually do in your day. Add on to that. Start adding some self-care. Like, literally, do things that you love, do things that you enjoy, do things that you are passionate for. Do things for you, because, you know, the more you love yourself, the more you'll be able to, like, you know, the more you love yourself, bro, literally, like, people die for that, bro. But also, like, you know, if you love yourself, then you know what boundaries that, you know, things you know, like, you'll never let certain things hit you again. Number 4, self-assess yourself. See why the relationship didn't work. What you feel about yourself that, like, you know, maybe wasn't good and you want to change. What you saw in that other person that you maybe want to, like, you don't want in another person. Assess that. And then, if you do go to talking to people again, a lot of people do tend to eventually, whether it's like months or even years after, like that last situation they were in. If you're going to do that again, think long term, not short term. Straight up. Those are the best tips I'd say. And if you're going to think short term, don't get into a relationship. Genuinely, don't get into another one. If you're going to think short term, then there's no point. You're cooked. Straight up, you're cooked. There's no point in you having another relationship because you think short term. It's pretty. If you're in a short term relationship, it's basically a fling, bro. Like, let's be real. It's just a fling. If you're in a long term relationship, if you actually think, like, you know what, this person is like for life, that's the type of person you need to be with. You know what I mean? You need to be with people like that. People that will make you feel complete. And one last thing. I talked about this briefly, but I'm gonna expand on this. Don't make that person your whole life. Okay? I'm standing on business. Everything I've said, I'm standing on business with, but especially this. Don't make that person your whole life. Literally have your own life, have your own hobbies, have your own friends, have everything that you have on your own. Don't literally make your friends from that your boy or your girls. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, be friends, have your own friends, have your own hobbies, like, do your own shit, have your own schedule of things that you're doing. Don't make everything that you do with a person. You get it? Don't make everything you do with your partner. Because the second everything that you do is with someone, then you have nothing that makes you unique. You know what I'm saying? So if that person is going to be in your life, they should be an addition to your life. They shouldn't, like, you know, be your whole life. If you don't have something to yourself, if you don't have things to yourself, then you're just not going to, like, you know what I'm saying? You don't have much about you, but you have things with them, but you don't have much about you. You don't want to be that person. You don't want to be that person. You know what I'm saying? So make sure you have things. You create your own story, right? You make your own character. You do what you want to do in a day. Make sure everything that you're building yourself up towards is everything you'd want to be. Make sure everything you ideally desire about yourself that you want to transform into, make it everything you want it to be. Don't, you know, like I said, don't settle for someone that will just always want to be around you, like control you. You know what I'm saying? Like, have a lot of things. So when you do go into speaking to someone again, you can say, I do this. There's no ifs and buts about it. I'm always going to do this. That's it. No one's touching you. No one's touching you. Obviously, like, when you're in a relationship, like, how you do things will adapt, but don't give up anything that you do because someone else entered your life. Keep everything that you do in your life. You know what I'm saying? Value yourself, value everything that you do. You know, like, just stand on business, bro. Lock in, bro. Lock in. Chat. Are we locked in or not? Are you guys locked in? I'm locked in. I know about you guys. I'm locked in. Okay? I've never been locked out. People always say, the great lock-in of September to December. Bro, who said we ever locked out the rest of the year? Who ever said that? Lock in, chat. Lock in, bro. That's all I'm saying. You guys need to lock in. Actually do something that values and makes you better. You know what I'm saying? All those steps, I'm telling you, come straight from me. No script, nothing. Just personal experience. That will make you a lot more complete in your life. And that's just some real spill. That's just a real spill. You know what I'm saying? I feel like, you know, when you get out of a relationship, like I said, I only spoke about this purely just because I know how it feels like when you're out of a relationship and you're trying to adapt to a new life without that person. But, like, I feel like this is personally what's helped me. So maybe it'll help you. I don't know, but I hope it does. And you know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's what I'd say. Focus on you, okay? Focus on you. Anyways.